Welcome to another trip through time with the Salty Historians Time Travel Excursions, January 13th. I'm your time pilot, the Salty Historian. Okay, you can call me Mary. Today we'll be traveling in my handy-dandy, nifty little time ship, and we'll be visiting several different time periods beginning all the way back in the 15th century. But just like anything, there are a few rules. Because people. So let's just run through those real quick so you can't say you weren't warned. Please be sure to keep all your favorite body parts inside the time ship at all times. Well, I suppose if you have any that aren't your favorite, you can go ahead and try it. I'll watch and laugh. But regardless of how amusing it might be, I ain't going back for it. Also, there are water bottles and light snacks under each of your seats, so please feel free to help yourself. But then when we get back, here's the second rule. Clean up after your damn self. I ain't your mom. Okay, that's it. Now, buckle up, because safety first. Our first stop takes us to England in the year 1404, when the Act of Multipliers was passed. For about a century, alchemists had been mixing shit up quite literally. And in alchemy, multiplication was creating more of a particular substance. Multiplication, kids. Well, the elite were afraid that alchemists would learn how to make precious metals, and then make more, and become elites, or assist the opposing elites. No, that's just silly. So the act declared that if anybody did it, they'd incur the pain of felony. They did conveniently disregard, as several sources said, that the Pope himself practiced alchemy. I know, you're totally surprised by the hypocrisy, aren't you? Anyway, the act was finally repealed in 1689. And there was this scientist you may have heard of, Sir Isaac Newton. Yeah, so he later used alchemy. I mean chemistry. Jumping ahead to 1888. When the National Geographic Society was founded in Washington, D.C. It was a group of elite scientists, scholars, and explorers. The goal is the increase and diffusion of geographical knowledge, well, while promoting conservation, culture, history, and natural resources. To date, the Society has made countless contributions. I mean, they assisted with the establishment of the National Park Service, exploring and mapping the world, finding buried treasure, restoring archaeological sites, and has brought the world to millions of people, and they keep doing it. Let's head to 1908, just outside of Paris, France. That January 13th was also a Monday, and the weather was perfect. And a man called Henri Farman, I know I'm bad with French, it's just a thing. He became the first person to fly a heavier-than-air machine, 1 kilometer in a closed circuit. It took 1 minute and 28 seconds, and they reached heights of, now wait for it, 25 feet off the ground. I know, you're impressed. That won him the Grand Prix of Aviation and a paycheck of $10,000. Not bad for a minute and a half of work, right? It was later determined that his machine was not suitable for long-distance flights, but he remains the first person to publicly demonstrate that an aeroplane could fly in any direction, including with, against, and across a light wind. But hey, we only hear about the Wright brothers because America. Moving right along to 1912. When a state record temperature of negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit, or negative 40 Celsius, was recorded in Oakland, Maryland. It was the Great Cold Wave and affected large areas of Virginia and Maryland. Temperatures ranged from negative 8 Fahrenheit in Washington, D.C. to that negative 40 in Oakland. And according to several sources, that remains the coldest temperature ever recorded in Maryland. Okay, we have to stop in 1913. When 22 women founded the Delta Sigma Theta sorority in Washington, D.C. at Howard University. You know what their first public act was? They participated in the Women's Suffrage March on D.C. in 1913. But hey, they weren't included when women got the vote. Their complexion wasn't quite marshmallow enough. Anyway, Delta Sigma Theta was incorporated in 1930, and today it's a nonprofit organization. It's also the world's largest Black women's sorority. More than 300,000 people have joined. And there are more than 900 chapters. In addition to DC, there are places like Jamaica, Korea, Bermuda, and a shit ton more. Let's move on to 1972, when Bernice Guerra won an anti-discrimination case against the National Baseball Congress. That meant she was allowed to fulfill her role as an umpire. And to date, she is one of only 9 women to have worn the umpire's uniform. And none of them has worn it in a major league game. Well, in 2024, Jen Powell got close. Sorry if I said your name wrong. She donned the uniform to umpire during MLB spring training, then was promptly sent back down to the minors. You're going to learn about Bernice in a future video. Jen is still making history. It would be preemptive to do it right now. Okay, next we have to stop in 1976, and not because I was born that year. No, we're going to New York City, to the Metropolitan Opera, when Sarah Caldwell became the first woman to conduct a performance there. It was La Traviata, and she will get her own video as well. All right, 1994. And if you did the math, that's the year I graduated. Ah, yes, that year it was figure skating. There was this dude called Jeff Gillooly. His good buddy was Sean Eckhart. Jeffy was figure skater Tanya Harding's ex-husband, and Shawnee was acting as her bodyguard. And the two of them identified a threat. And they had to remove it so Tanya wouldn't be harmed. You know what that threat was? A woman called Nancy Kerrigan, who was outperforming Tanya on the ice, with every front axel and salchow. So Jeffy and Shawnee took out Nancy's leg on January 6th. No correlation. Then on this day in 1994, Jeffy and Shawnee were charged for the crime and later went to prison. Okay, but did they secure the win for Tanya? Yeah, no. Fucking duh. She took a plea deal, guilty of the felony of hindering the prosecution. She had to leave the figure skating world, got probation and community service, and she earned her place in history for the whack herd around the world. Okay, let's briefly hit Hawaii in 2018, and a lot of you probably remember this one. That year, a state employee pushed the wrong goddamn button and sent a false early morning ballistic missile alert to everybody in the state. Then, through a series of governmental bullshit events, it wasn't revoked for 38 fucking minutes. Yeah, so kids, can you pay attention to the button you're clicking, for fuck's sake? Another fucking duh. Okay, our final stop is in 2021. That's when the world's oldest known cave painting of an animal, a pig, was discovered in Indonesia. It's believed to be about 45,000 years old and proves definitively that there is never a bad time for bacon. If January 13th is your birthday, you share it with Liam Hemsworth, Natalia Dyer, Orlando Bloom, Michael Pena, Shonda Rhimes, and everybody could use a reason to celebrate, right? How about some inspiration? Today is Korean American Day. It's an annual celebration of the first Korean immigrants to the United States. It's officially recognized by the federal government, but I don't know that I've ever heard of it before this. How about you, if you're not Korean? Did you know about it? There is a lot of history behind this celebration, so please take a minute to look it up and learn something. Today is also Make Your Dreams Come True Day. So fucking do it. Or at the very least, make a step. It is also Rubber Ducky Day. You know who started that one? Ernie from Sesame Street, when he declared January 13th his Rubber Ducky's birthday. Because Rubber Ducky's the one. Alas, with that, we've returned to 2025. Yeah, I know, I didn't want to either. But I don't get to make the rules. Please make sure you still have all your favorite bits and bobs, and haven't picked up any extras along the way. Also, a gentle reminder to clean up after your damn self, or I'm gonna judge you. Thank you for taking another trip through time with the Salty Historians Time Travel Excursions. See you again real soon.